afternoon.
Hello everybody, how are you? Hello everybody, you smell of poo. Hello everybody, welcome. I'm just having a flick through the Love Island.
I've got them up here too. I'm excited. Apparently 8 of them were pre-selected. Only three went for open auditions.
Really?
Yeah, I find that a bit frustrating.
But millions of people audition, don't they?
But just for 3 spaces. Oh look, we're blurry. What does that mean, guys? Oh no, we're coming into focus. We're pulling into focus. It's like that Robin Williams film. I feel so out of focus. We haven't stopped this morning. We filmed virtually all the Sunday show.
Yeah.
Haven't we?
Oh, and guys,
in
the family guest area, if you didn't join the live yesterday, go and have a look at it because there's a chance of winning a £50 voucher, John Lewis voucher.
Oh yeah, there is.
So if you missed it, go and check it out.
Head over, you'll find the link in the community tab, which is a much often neglected little tab on the YouTube channel. Go to the community tab and we put little updates there, and sometimes Nadia posts images of herself in bikinis. You do that quite a bit these days. Yeah, very naughty. Good morning everyone, we missed you. It's been a while. It was last Wednesday, was it? We did the last last Thursday we did Coffee Morning. So you didn't have a Friday quiz, you didn't have Saturday papers. Members got a members live, so we've missed you. We missed you, and this week's a bit of an odd one as well because Nadia's going to be holding the fort quite a bit this week. So it's nice to be with you.
And tonight, Love Island starts, and we are going to, as often as we can. We're not going to say every night because it will depend. We're going to be doing a live after Love Island.
Drinks a lot of gin.
Here on YouTube. Now,
she's very serious.
For years, I didn't watch it. I was like, oh, what a load of crap. And then I just got involved because everyone was talking about it all the time. And actually, it's quite good escapist fun. So yeah, join me for that tonight live on Instagram and then over here afterwards. So Boris Johnson's vote of no... Well, because you're being really fucking annoying. Just muttering under me like Nick Ferrari. That's what he does with his guests. It's so annoying.
No, what Nick Ferrari does is
so
he pretends he's got pieces of paper. And when they're saying stuff, he goes,
You were just doing exactly the same very rude thing. So
I can't get into these love match. Me too. Look, here's the thing. It's not serious. I end up sort of pretending that I don't like it, and then I always end up watching over their shoulders. What do they call it? Commissioners call it it's kind of shared guilty viewing, over the shoulder viewing, where members of the family watch it. Oh, tra-la-la, you got your card, I'm delighted. It's where people kind of watch over the shoulder. So I always end up watching it, and then a clique develops around it. And then if you're not part of the clique, you just feel left out. I
don't think it's a... What?
You just literally, I'm talking to you like that.
I'm just trying to think, when I wasn't watching it, did I feel everyone was cliquey? No, I just think everyone is just into it.
No.
So if you're outside, it feels like a clique.
Entirely disagree. As soon as you and the girls get into it, and I dare to walk into the lounge, and I go, oh, who's she? You all look at me like, that's Sarah. Really crossly, like there's no chance of me catching up. Like there's no chance. It's like there's no access point in during it. If you don't know the narrative, there is a look of total intolerance from all the women in the
Well, anyway, that's going to be us for the next few weeks. I don't know how long Love Island is. It's a month?
Sarah Beaton says there's too many trap house. I think it's longer than that, isn't it? 6 weeks.
I think they change it quite often, don't they?
Yeah.
You never know where you are with it.
So Boris Johnson. So the big news this morning is Sir Graham Brady, the man who's very tight-lipped and has a huge post box and a post bag, has wandered around Westminster today, tipped out all the letters and said, oh my God, we've hit 54. And the rumour mill is they had 54 before, which is the number of votes of no confidence they needed, because it has to be, I think, 15% 15% of the parliamentary party. But they didn't want to declare it any sooner because they didn't want to piss on the Queen's parade. They didn't want to ruin the impact of Paddington Bear and Queenie, which I still think is one of the loveliest things.
Some people are already moaning about it.
Why would they moan about it?
Well, what's the Paddington Bear got to do with the Queen?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
People being moaning about it, saying it wasn't funny, it was embarrassing.
You could ask that of everything.
It's like, oh, you miserable scroats. It was a bit of fun.
It's a bit of fun. Maybe she's a fan of Paddington Bear. Does it
matter?
John
Cullen says Boris will survive.
Boris will absolutely survive the vote of no confidence. Though, I would say, it's been kind of
I don't think he absolutely will.
Oh no, well, the only thing that makes me hesitate is that it feels like there was a sort of rapid acceleration of letters coming in. But
Well, there's going to be, like they say, that for the amount of letters that have come in, there will be a certain percentage of people that feel that way that didn't want to put a letter in. So that's we just got to face. But I think that's going to be quite a lot. So I think I want him to stay in.
Well, the vote of no confidence, it will be tonight. I mean, it's quick, it moves quickly, and but they need to get 180 votes for it to trigger a leadership election. If they get 180 votes, it will trigger a leadership election, and he won't be able to rerun. So we would be looking at a new prime minister. If he wins the vote of no confidence, no one can challenge him again for another year. Now, this happened to Theresa May, I think she won by about 100. She won by about 70 or 130 or something like that. I can't remember. But the adage goes within the Conservative Party and within Parliament that once this has happened, it's the beginning of the end, because. Yeah. Regardless of how many more votes come in. Well, and also, even if he survives the vote of no confidence, still a sizable amount of his party, perhaps a quarter or perhaps a third, the nation knows, he knows, the Conservative Party knows, and the opposition knows that there's a huge swathe of people in there that don't support him. So that they call it. What do they call it? They call it sort of. It's like 1,000 cuts, isn't it? That's how they kind of pull him down. The Tory party never do it with one chop. It's the night of 1,000 cuts. They just keep cutting over a long period of time, and before you know it, he'll be gone.
Maybe says Theresa got 63%.
63% of the vote, yeah. So a third of the party, as I say, didn't. Thank you, Miju. Death by 1,000 cuts. It's such a horrible thought, that, isn't it? It's so vivid.
Middle Eastern.
It's very a bit like your dad's story in the Sunday show last weekend. So I thought it was a really nice opportunity for us to remember all the lovely things that Boris has done. Can we think of positive things that Boris has done? What would we remember if he was to go, him for, in terms of the most positive things that Boris did? And I think it's important that we try and think of the positive things. Are there any?
Well, the vaccine.
Right. Yeah. I think he did make
they
made some gambling choices, didn't they, beyond other countries?
AstraZeneca.
Yeah.
I still believe, was an extraordinary. I mean, the whole AstraZeneca.
Read nothing.
The whole AstraZeneca situation, when, in my opinion, Pfizer got some really dirty PR wheels going against AstraZeneca, but AstraZeneca, funded by the government, is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Produced a vaccine that you could just put in a rucksack.
Dorney says the medical team has made the vaccine.
No, they made the vaccine, but he facilitated. Of course, they invested huge amounts of money very quickly. I'm trying to find nice things to say about him. And then AstraZeneca produced, the brilliant scientists of AstraZeneca produced a vaccine that could be popped into the back of a rucksack, didn't need a freezer that minus 100, and also said they would make no profit for the entirety of the pandemic, which of course pissed Pfizer off, because Pfizer were making a lot of money from it. But that was all very British, the AstraZeneca thing, and that's the thing that I hold dear about the pandemic.
But you could argue he was also incredibly... Well, no. We're just talking about what's positive. This is the danger. Let's just talk about...
It's very hard for me.
I had a positive feeling when he was struck ill. Not that I was... quite the opposite. I was shocked. I was horrified. I think he had...
It's very scary,
I think he had cross-party sympathy and support at the point that he was taken ill.
That's why what he did with the parties was so unfucking forgivable.
Yeah.
Because then he came out and said, "I saw how hard they worked. And then he just put. Sorry, we're supposed to be. Why are we having to say?
Because it's like a party game.
I don't want to say anything positive about him, because not all roads lead back to him manipulating. So when something good appears to have been done, there's always the manipulation on the other side of it.
Reese Roberts says the problem is with any achievement he makes, he disappears up his own arsehole.
Exactly.
I've got a couple of thoughts on this. So here's some sort of,
Elsa Pop, it really bothers me that I share a birthday with Boris.
I bet it does. A couple of thoughts here. Could Boris actually want the vote of no confidence so that he wins the vote of confidence, and that puts a line under Partygate?
Possibly, because he's so manipulative.
Could this be the only? Could this be the ultimate dead cat that he ultimately wants to sort of say? And that, okay, whilst you could argue that any vote of no confidence is the beginning of the end, as Keir Starmer was saying today on the radio, that actually for Boris, given where he's at, this might be the only way in which he can say, do you know what? That's a line under that, and then he sort of rumbles on, anyway.
Yeah, he'll treat it like he's had a good whipping.
Yes.
He's had his whipping, and
This
now
is
let's
his
get
punishment.
back on with it.
Yeah. This is punishing. No, this is because the booing this weekend tipped some MPs over
I
the line.
think it did.
Yeah, it did,
I think it
didn't
had
it?
a really big impact there because everyone was talking about, because there's this assumption, I don't know whether it's right, that people that are monarchists are always Tories. I don't think that's necessarily true at all.
It's a good question, though. It's a good thought. Are most monarchists Tories? Not necessarily. No, you're not.
But that's been the analysis everywhere.
But there
You've
were-
got to think most monarchists are Tories.
Yeah.
And they've booed.
So what do you mean?
they've
You
booed
mean
it.
the assumption being that we had only a patriotic audience would be standing around, sort of welcoming
Yeah.
everyone, and the fact that they
Yeah.
booed him. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they must have moved quickly yesterday then. Apparently there was a memo passing around Parliament with 13 reasons why he was bad for the Tory party.
Really?
And one of them was the booing. One of them was all about the booing. And then, of course, the other side of it, which Nadia was asking earlier, or talking about earlier today, was, do the Labour Party secretly not want him to go? Because is he the best liability the Tories have? Because let's face it, I think if he does stay and sort of stumble into yet more fixed furnishings, en route to the next election, it could help Labour to have him bumbling away at the front, making huge gaffes.
YouTube says if I were Labour, I'd want to keep him in. Yeah, I'm really hoping that he doesn't go because he's such a moron. But you say he can't stand the next election anyway.
No, he can. If he wins the vote of confidence, he can. If he loses the vote of no, he could stand to become prime minister again. But in the short term, if he loses the vote of no confidence,
loses the vote, right?
He can't rerun.
Right,
for
I
leadership.
thought you meant because he'd been.
No.
Because there had been enough.
No. There could be
say.
another term of parliament,
Right, okay.
and he could be put.
Well, I think the best thing for the Labour Party, or in fact, the Lib Dems are doing very well.
Well, I think Labour and Lib Dems, aren't they surely?
They should
aren't
pull
they going
together.
to absolutely cooperate? They've said it many years in a row that
They
they're going
need
to
to pull
cooperate.
together.
Do you think this is going to be the time they do it? Dawn Claricoats, thank you for piping up. I'm a royalist, but definitely not a conservative. There you go.
There you go.
Proof is in the pudding, Dawn.
I think I think it would have been quite insulting for a lot of royalists yesterday that might not be Tories. I think that Labour and Liberals should join together because the whole voting system doesn't really work, does it?
Well, no, I think proportional representation. I know everyone's when you say proportional
People go,
representation,
for God's sake. People get so
Why
annoyed
do they
about
get
it.
so annoyed?
But what he's actually talking about is democracy, that the majority of people that vote
the
for
danger of
someone
it.
gets that party in.
And it works. It cuts both ways. It cuts across benefits across the whole political spectrum. Because of course, UKIP would have had a much stronger representation in government. So it doesn't always necessarily fall the right way. But PR, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you don't have strong leadership." Well, is that what? Look what we've got now with a huge majority. I mean, it's not. Why not have a collaborative government? I don't see why there's a problem with collaboration in government.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
They might do it.
Yeah. Happy 21st to Chloe.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chloe. Happy birthday to you.
Christos, sending you and Natasha all our love. I'm not too sure what's happened there. Do let me know.
Dawny's still trying to think of something positive.
Yeah, no, I am too. I'm trying to think of something positive. The fact that he didn't run Kiki over when he was on his bike as mayor, that was positive.
When people talk about him being so brilliant for Ukraine, I think he stirred it up.
Yeah.
I think all the help he gave Ukraine, he could have done quietly. He showed off about it and he really irritated
Do you think it's
Russia.
perhaps made us
when
vulnerable?
Russia already hates us, I think it's made us far more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's what I worry about if Liz Truss gets in, because come on, let's face it, she's a loose cannon. Every time she goes out, she says something wrong.
Yeah. I mean, for the first time ever, I've begun to think maybe Sajid Javid would be a good idea. I mean, we're within Tories here. I mean, obviously.
I think it would have to be Sajid Javid.
Yeah, even though his brother clearly, potentially, allegedly,
But his
possibly
name is
had something.
never mentioned.
No, it's weird, isn't it?
It's never mentioned.
Weird.
It's very weird.
Yeah. Molly 26 Rose, the most vulnerable,
Do you think
will
there's
not
some
survive
fear
another
of
2 years of this
racism then?
Tory government.
Do you think there's some fear from the Tories that the Tories wouldn't vote in a foreigner, as they might say?
I don't know. I don't know.
I've just
Can I
thought
just-
about that. Why is he? Mind you, Rishi was mentioned.
Yeah, and Rishi's Chancellor. So I mean,
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much for all your anniversary messages. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, Christoph Waltz to play Billy Wilder. I think that's a good choice. So Boris Johnson, that's Boris Johnson. What's the latest on that? Let me just see what the latest on that is. No, it's all going to happen later today. We may well have a live later today to discuss it, depending on the results. Could be quite significant. I'm just looking quickly through those. Okay, so did anyone else hear Len? What's the name of that? Len, what's his face off Strictly? That he put his foot in it, didn't he, this weekend? Or did he put his foot in it? Len, what's his name? Len something or other. Can anyone remember his name? Come on, Len Goodman. Thanks, Lee Durrant. Thank you, Lee. He was referring to what his grandparents or parents referred to curry as that nasty stuff or that horrible stuff. But and it was felt that this was a deeply insensitive thing to say, because I think what he was trying to talk about, I don't think he was signing up to it, was he? He was talking about how our grandparents talked, and it just struck me. I didn't put it in the title, but it was just one of those things that snagged my interest as I was going, because I was thinking, yeah, in the retelling of how relatives have been so out of touch, I didn't realise how you could cause offence.
Well, it's like my granddad.
Foreign muck is what he called it.
My mum's dad was like that, and my mum was married to an Arab.
Yes,
and he would come in, he'd go, oh, what's that foreign muck smell? Oh, dear God, what's that? Oh, is it onions?
Yeah.
Oh, God,
So he
was... And every time, it used to just piss my mum off so much.
So just to explain, he was doing sort of he was giving commentary about some of the food, some of the dishes that were kind of judged for the Platinum Jubilee, and there was all this excitement about which dish. I think he was with John Torode. He was presenting. John Torode, by the way, has got an MBE. And whilst they were discussing this, he was reflecting on his parents' or grandparents' thoughts on foreign food, and he referred to it as foreign muck. So that's the context in which it happened. And I think it was his gran, Dawny Harvey. It wasn't offensive. It was his gran who said it. Len's about 80, so this would be 100 years ago. Bloody ridiculous. So it is.
I would bet my bottom dollar he didn't mean it offensively. On his intentions weren't bad, but it's funny, isn't it?
In the retelling.
But it's funny, isn't it? If I was in that same situation, I wouldn't have told that. I wouldn't have told that story
for fear.
Not for fear, because I'm more awake to how that could be offensive. Because I suppose what you're saying is, it was like listening to Sadiq Khan yesterday saying that, the difficult relationship that Labour has with patriotism and, all the confusion that we've got with what the England flag means and what, he said the England flag meant to me, run, because I was probably going to get the shit beaten out of me. And he was probably also, when he was growing up, people would say, oh, what's that foreign muck? So though she's 80... or she would have been 100, there are people that would smart, that would hurt, because they've heard that all through their life.
And it was so triggering, it would take you back to a period of time,
I'm kind of weird about saying triggering, because I think we've got it's a bit like with woke, which all woke means is to be awake to other people's feelings. And I think triggering has become something else that we all go, oh, God. But I think it could just smart, and it's like, why smart somebody, sting somebody if you don't have to?
Alison Kupasamy, I hope I pronounced your surname correctly, says he didn't mean it, but it was a bit shocking. So maybe it was just the snag of hearing it. But it does. I know what you mean. In a sort of contemporary landscape where we are all more thoughtful and considerate and considered in the way that we talk, I suppose to hear something like that would be quite abrasive, wouldn't it, in the current climate?
I mean, the thing is, every time my granddad said it, and I'm not joking, it was every time he came to the house.
Really?
Every single time.
Really?
Oh, God. Oh, no. You've been cooking onions in here, that foreign muck, every time.
Really?
Yeah. But it never hurt me.
Right.
It never upset me. I don't know why. I was just seemed to be, I don't know, I was just pissed my mum off. But, yeah. Yeah, so even though I am, my father is a foreigner, he's an immigrant, I would feel odd about saying it. Like I have felt odd saying it today.
No,
telling
exactly.
The story.
Just as you said it just then, I sort of blanched a little bit. And on that note of sort of saying potentially inappropriate stuff that potentially offends, Deborah James, who we all know and love, Dame Deborah James, who has raised 6.6 million, is in end-of-life care. She kind of cracked a joke saying something along the lines of, I better not die this weekend. I'm determined not to die over Jubilee weekend. I don't want Meghan stealing my thunder. And loads of people online have said really horrible comments about Harry and Meghan when they have nothing to do with this and have kept a low profile. Making an inappropriate joke, one person wrote, about them has allowed the haters to voice their opinions.
Oh, come on. Are we serious?
Yeah. The mum of two wrote, Deborah later took to the platform to defend the Jubilee Fund, explaining it was a joke, and she said, Meghan comment is a joke. Apparently you can still find a send-off fun in your day. She added, the rest is not. It's dying, the last taboo of them all. I thought poo talk was hard, but navigating end-of-life care makes checking your poo easy by comparison of DNR check and respect documents.
What's DNR?
I don't know. Of course it was a joke. It's dark humour, and how many of us have made a joke when in the GP surgery. Yeah, I mean, she's got gallows sense of humour.
For God's sake, that was nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody released the haters. The haters are there. They're always going to be there.
Well, no, but that's the terrible thing. Nothing releases the haters.
Nothing.
What the haters do is they find anything to allow them to trigger. So I mean,
it's like there's always, whenever I do a lip sync or I do a bikini thing, there's always a couple of people that want to make out that I'm anti-women, that I hate women, that I'm against women, I'm jealous of women that are slim and all this sort of stuff. It means nothing to me.
DNRs do not resuscitate.
So it means nothing to me when people say it. Like, literally just doesn't touch me, because it's like, I think it was Kim Kardashian that was saying the other day, I can't control how somebody else responds to me. I can only control the way I respond back. And it's so true.
It's true. Very true.
It's like, I just feel sorry for people that are that nasty. And I'm sure Meghan and Harry are like that now as well. They just know there's a certain amount of haters. They got booed.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. No, a lot of hate out there. So that's even Deborah James can get in the line of fire for having a gallows humour. And so finally, Nadia was teasing this up on. Oh no, hang on. The other thing I want to talk about quickly before we get to Love Island as our sign off is the handshake or the hug. What do you do? What do you do? Are you a handshaker? Are you a hugger? Is handshaking more of a male thing? Do you handshake?
I'm both. I judge within split seconds what a person would prefer. Sometimes I'll handshake and then I realise the person felt a bit uncomfortable because we're going to go for a hug, so I'll do a handshake and a hug.
You'll do a handshake and a hug?
Sometimes, yeah.
Handshake, hug and a kiss?
No, depends.
I thought we'd seen the back of the handshake. Nah. After, all the...
I mean, I did a job the other day and they were all new people, new crew, everybody. And I was like, end of pandemic, and everyone was like, everybody gave a hug. So right. I was the same. I thought we'll never get back to that, but we have.
Ellie Denning, I'm not a hugger. I'm going to do a little poll as we go off into Love Island. Are you a hugger or a... What did I say? A hugger or a handshaker? Handshaking, who did I shook someone? Oh, when we were away on that very exciting day, we were out of town. I shook a gentleman's hand, and it was so... I mean, when I shake a hand, I go for a hard handshake. I almost overcompensate. It's like I go for the crush. And this guy's crush was in no way an obvious thing, given his slight demeanour.
Yeah,
he grabbed my hand and almost bounced me around the room like the Hulk throwing someone about. And I don't know how I was left feeling. When I stroke someone's hand and they're very strong, how do I feel? I feel like I've been slightly assaulted.
With a hug?
No, with a really strong handshake.
Yeah, sometimes it's too much, isn't it? It's like, well, you can tell they've been brought up in a school, they go, right, nice firm handshake. It's like, all right, don't go over the top.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Sometimes it hurts.
Sorry, my poll was a yes or no. I screwed it up. Okay, so tell us how excited you are about Love Island, Ned.
I'm not excited yet.
Oh, Christ.
It's always a build for me.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, if I'm honest, it usually takes a week to take off.
Right.
But, as I was just saying on my Instagram live, we're going to get right into it early, aren't we, guys? We're going to get into the analysis. As Zoe said, we're often right from the first episode on who's going to be a bloody nightmare. It's a difficult one, really, kind of reviewing Love Island, because having done a reality show now and being the age that I was when I did a reality show, I have such sympathy for how bizarre a thing it is to do. So it's always like with a bit of fun. I don't like to be too like judgy about people because...
Yeah, it's really important.
But so we're always looking for the fun and looking for the big characters and looking for the funny lines. And last year I loved Chloe. Was it last year or was it the year before? It was like years ago. You know, who spoke like that and just loved boys. She loved boys, she loved her water bottle, she just loved it all. And so I'll be looking for my Chloe this year to do my little...
And let's not forget, guys, that's about a little bit of light-hearted fun. Do you remember how there have always been impersonators? That's kind of what that is. It's just a bit of light-hearted fun.
Impersonators. I mean, my God, what's happened to impersonators? This country loves impersonators.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, my God, I'm not going to not do it because a few people want to make out that I'm being a bitch, because I'm not being a bitch.
Yeah.
In fact, me and Chloe, when she came out, did connect, and she said, "Oh, it's so much fun seeing what you do." So
Exactly.
it's always
Whenever
I do anyone. They always text me or DM me and say, "Oh, I loved it. It's really funny." So.
Exactly. So some of the contestants that are lined up. Michael Owen's daughter, is it? That's in there. So there's
she's
Luca.
not happy about it.
What? She's not happy about being in.
No, he's not happy. Sorry, he's not happy about it.
Luca Bish, 23. He's a fishmonger. We've got Amber Beckford, who's a nanny from London. So that's Amber. We've got Andrew Lepage. I think it's Lepage or Lepage.
Andrew Lepage.
Who's from Guernsey.
Looking
an
at him just
agent.
there for that minute.
Yeah, he looks
for
awkward.
that split second, he looks awkward and uncomfortable.
He doesn't look comfy with that.
I don't think he's going to have an easy
I
time.
think we've got the first deaf contestant this year. We've got Ikenna Ekwana, 23-year-old chap
deaf?
from Nottingham. No, he's not deaf. We've just got a deaf contestant. He works in pharmaceuticals. Gemma Owen, 19. She's the daughter, obviously, of football legend Michael Owen.
That's the
Gemma
age
Owen.
of our mads.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it's a very difficult thing to do at that age.
Then we've got David Sanclementi. Just his name sounds like trouble. 27-year-old. There he is.
Isn't it funny? I'm already getting my ideas. I think
Tasha Guri, or Natasha Guri. She's the first. This is the first ever deaf contestant. So she's our deaf contestant. That's brilliant. Then we have Liam Llewellyn. He looks like a cheeky chappy. From Newport, South Wales. He's a master's student.
Oh God, they're always quite naughty, the Welsh ones.
Are they? Oh. Are you naughty? Are you Welsh and are you naughty?
I have to say, at the minute, it's quite difficult to distinguish between them.
Between who?
The boys. They've all got identical six-packs.
India Pollack, who's 23, hotel waitress. Then we've got Dammy Hope, who's 26, looking for love, a microbiologist from Dublin. And then we have Paige Thorne. I think she's going to be trouble, don't know why. She's a paramedic. She's hoping to broaden her horizons, and she's from Swansea. All I do know about...
She looks like she's from Swansea.
All I do know about... Oh, and there's an image of a dog taking a dump. That's lovely. All I do know about Swansea is the couple of times I've been there filming, it's a crazy place at night. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Crazy for feeling so crazy.
So 3/4 of you are huggers rather than handshakers. And you're absolutely right. There's nothing worse than a wet, limp handshake. Don't offer the hand if you're not offering a tense hand.
What I hate is people that don't know which side to go first for a hug. They're really strange, those people.
Right.
When they just go to the wrong way.
Yes.
Because there is an absolute way, it's that way.
Is there?
Of course. No.
Just naturally do it.
You would never go that way. That's awkward.
There you go, you heard it
it's
here first.
Right ear.
Right ear. Right ear, right now. Okay,
it's
guys.
Right ear to right ear. If you're going to the left, don't do it, because it's awkward.
I thought that was you talking, but it's the sound of a nose blowing. Guys, have a lovely day. Content will be landing. I'm not too sure what, but something will be landing later today. Have a lovely day, and see you on the morrow.
Bye.
We might see you later, actually. Obviously, Love Island and/or Boris Johnson's no confidence vote.